The next speaker is Dr. Gitanjali Yadav. She's a senior scientist at the National Institute of Plant Genome Research and the co-founder of the Semantic Climate, a global citizen science movement for climate action. She also teaches data science at IISER Bhopal and at the University of Cambridge, UK. Dr. Yadav is an expert in genomics and artificial intelligence with applications in food security and conservation. Dr. Gitanjali Yadav has received several awards, including the Hamid Fellowship from the University of Cambridge, Exceptional Talent Award from the Royal Society of London, DBT's Innovating Young Biotechnologist Award, the INSA Medal, and the Sastra Obaid Siddiqui Life Science Award. As co-chair of the Co-Data International Data Policy Committee, Dr. Yadav strongly advocates FAIR, Fair Data Principles, and open access. In her free time, Gitanjali is an avid photographer and travel writer. Dr. Gitanjali.
Thank you, Sabita. Abhilasha and I were just thinking we should probably be taking over a panel-style presentation, but I think I will only merely speak a little bit about the work that we do. So good afternoon once again. It is my pleasure to stand here today at my own parent institution and introduce Semantic Climate to all of you. We are a global citizen science movement using open notebook science, different from open science, please, and different from open access. And we also believe in faiриfication of data, or fair data principles, which are absolutely required and necessary today to transform information into structured, filtered, and actionable knowledge. We all stand here today through a joint initiative. I mean, we are all in this room today through a joint initiative between our two nations. And interestingly, exactly 10 years ago in 2014, it was Barend Mons, a professor at the Leiden University in the Netherlands, who first began the idea of going fair. He called it the Go Fair initiative. And in order to be, where he said that in order to be machine readable, data has to be, or to make sense of anything in an increasingly digitized world, data has to be fair. So Barend insisted that we've got to all of us come together and make data fair. And why am I repeating the word fair? Fair, F-A-I-R, in 2014 was defined as data being F for findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. I met Barend earlier this year on the 10th anniversary of FAIR being celebrated at the Leiden University in the Netherlands, where all data scientists across different continents came together to assess the road ahead in faiриfication and equitability of data, having experienced 10 years of the FAIR principles. Barend is not here with us in this room today. He is busy. He's online listening to this conversation, but he's busy basically setting up the Leiden Institute for Fair and Equitable Science, called LIFES. And the idea of the LIFES Institute is to set up a reference institute in Leiden itself, the cradle of FAIR, of course. But the explicit aim is for us here in this room, hopefully through conversations representing both India and the Netherlands, to join strengths to support the development of a virtual LIFES sibling institute. This would be an existing institute anywhere in the country, could be ours right here, this parent organization of ours, but with people having an interest in developing all or part of the expertise and infrastructure required to enable fair and equitable science. We would adopt the same approach to FAIR based on fully machine readable and machine actionable data. We would preserve privacy. That means we would be GDP compliant. We would not be thinking of data access, but of data visitation. In addition, we would also look at distributed analytics to minimize the safety risks as well as maximize equitability for being climate responsive. The equitable part obviously includes global inclusion and diversity. My aim today to be here on stage is to speak on how we in India are taking forward the idea of faiриfication of data. And by that word, we now mean in 2024, that is 10 years after the Go Fair beginning, a new meaning which to define FAIR in a different way. Looking ahead, we now intend to make data FAIR, meaning F for fully AI ready. How would you make your data fully AI ready? There's just no way you can do it unless the data, your data, follows the original FAIR definition, being findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. So this is not going to happen in isolation. So I stand before you as a data scientist in India, speaking of our work in verification of climate data for climate action and climate justice. We believe in making knowledge freely accessible to everybody. Our premise in Semantic Climate is that every citizen should be able to read climate-related information at the minimum least. That means the full breadth of knowledge about climate must be made immediately and fully available to everyone, because openness is a powerful accelerant for finding solutions to our most pressing challenges. Climate change now is a complex problem with dimensions not only in the physical and natural sciences, but also in the social sciences and humanities, arts, and policy. Thus, climate change is an urgent interdisciplinary issue, but addressing this problem requires worldwide collaboration to overcome barriers of cost, culture, and policy, to keep knowledge from flowing between countries, between scientists and society and scientists. A central activity, therefore, that we have in Semantic Climate is to liberate climate knowledge and make it accessible to the world. We have created a proof of concept toolkit that uses AI over natural language processing to transform locked literature, to help the scholarly corpus or to convert the scholarly corpus into semantic hypermedia form. This is a non-trivial task, something that has haunted developers for almost 30 years, since all of us across the globe discovered or invented something called the PDF, and since then became such utter dependence on the PDF that we can't go beyond or think beyond the PDF anymore. The PDF is not machine readable, and so the PDF is not available, not accessible, not fair. And so we need to get beyond that and become fair. Our toolkit in Semantic is a one-click semantics encyclopedia for climate, and it has been tested on the United Nations IPCC report. Some of us call the United Nations IPCC report as the survival guide to humanity. And so our toolkit makes the report accessible, processable by machines, embedded in the global knowledge graph, and thereby connected to multilingual resources. What we essentially have here in Semantic is a knowledge prosthetic for any one of you to do anything that you wish to, not just with climate, with any kind of research that you wish to. I believe this work may be of interest to many of us, many attendees today. In particular, a lot of universities are now starting to run compulsory climate courses. This hypermedia tool that we have developed can be useful as a free, of course, open resource for education, and we are very happy to collaborate. We do research. There are 4 things we do within Semantic Climate. The first, of course, is research, wherein we develop tools using AI over NLP. We also do internships lasting from 4 weeks to 12 months. And that has happened through NIPGR assistance and support. The third thing we do is public engagement and activities by means of hackathons, datathons, data workshops, panels, using user-friendly open platforms like GitHub, OSF, Google Colab, Jupyter Notebooks, and so on. I also wish to emphasize now, as I end my talk, that Semantic Climate is designed so that the barrier to entry is 0. You don't need to have any background information to join us, and therefore, we are a very flat organization. We are not a company. We are just a group of volunteer academics who just want to make a difference to climate in the world. We value a wide range of experiences and skills, and we welcome you to join us. In summary, I wish to again emphasize that we are catalyzing the building of a global semantic knowledge commons for climate. We call it the GSKC. It's a self-improving network of semantic tools. This is a very powerful idea, and it can change the way the world uses and distributes knowledge, but it will not be done without people, without you. And so please join us. Together we can and will change the world and make it a better place. Thank you very much.